is Rick Casalge from exercisesforinjuries.com. What I want to go through is I want to go through something that will help relieve stiffness and tightness in your mid-back. So if you're sitting lots of late, if you're sitting on the couch, you're sitting at the desk, if you're playing on your phone, if you're watching all kinds of streaming stuff, this will help out, especially if you have like tightness in the mid-back. If your mid-back feels like it's all locked up, then give these exercises a go. Now, before I start going into the exercises, definitely let me know where you're watching this from. It's really cool to see all the different places that people are watching this live. So let me know where you're watching this from down below, and we'll start going into the exercises. So I got my chair here, and I'm going to go through the exercises in sitting. So what I recommend is you have a seat. You're going to sit nice and tall. This is the first exercise. So nice and tall when it comes to head, shoulders, and hips, and then hips, knees, and ankles at 90. So nice and tall. And then what I want to do is cross the arms, and then I want to arch back. And really trying to tighten the abdominal area, and really trying to arch in that mid-back area. So most of the movement is happening in that mid-back area. So I'm arching back. I'm going to do about 5 repetitions. As you saw, as I was going through them, it's a nice, smooth, controlled movement. It's not fast. It's not ballistic. I'm trying to focus on moving every little segment of my vertebrae in order to loosen up things. Now, when it comes to the sets and reps, I would just go with 1 set. You can do this a number of times throughout the day, but when it comes to the reps, start off at like 5. Just because it feels better doesn't mean it'll feel even better if you do 50, because what's going to happen is you're going to move from happy joints to angry joints if you overdo it. So want to stay in that happy joint area, and that's in that 5 to 10 range. So that's the first movement that I want you to do. Now the second one, I'm sitting once again. I've got that ideal posture, head, shoulders, hips in alignment, and then hips, knee, and ankle at 90 degrees. Now the next one is, I want to cross the arms, and I want to rotate to one side, and then I want to rotate to the other side. Okay, let me move back just a touch here so people can clearly see me. Okay. So now, the first one we arch straight back. The second one, we're tightening that abdominal area. We're moving the shoulders to one side, and then we're moving the shoulders to the other side. And just rotating back and forth. Okay. So looking at doing like 5 repetitions each side and each direction. So if we look at the mid-back area and throughout the whole spine, it moves in multiple planes of movement. So it just doesn't move forward and back. It moves forward and back, side to side, rotation, rotation with side bending. So it moves in all kinds of different planes of movement. So we don't want to just target one movement. We want to target all of those different movements. And even just going from those 2 exercises, my back or my mid-back feels already loosened up even more. So as I go through these exercises, let me know if you have questions. You can ask them down below. I'll respond to them, or my team will jump in and respond to them. Also, looking at this topic came from you or someone from the Facebook fan page. So if you have any other ideas when it comes to topics that we should cover, please do leave them down below. We're always looking for ideas. So now we're down 2 exercises, and now let me go through the third one. Okay, so I'm having a seat. I've got that ideal posture and that ideal sitting position, and I've crossed the arms. Then I'm going to side bend to one side, back to the middle, side bend to the other side, back to the middle, side bend to the other side. And once again, just like the other ones, I want to do 5 repetitions in each direction. So 5 one way, 5 the other way on an alternating pattern. So alternating back and forth. So we've hit the mid-back area in 3 different movements. And let me just quickly check to see if anyone has any questions. Okay, so we've gone through 3 of the movements. So the arching back one, the side bending one, and then the rotation one. Okay, now moving to the next one. So with this one, we're going to cross the arms, we're going to rotate, and then we're going to side bend. And then back and up to the middle. Other side, side bend, and back up, back to the middle. Rotating, side bend, up and back to the middle. Okay, so now what we've combined is that rotation to one direction and then side bending to that same side. And just like with the other ones, we're going to do 5 repetitions on each side, alternating back and forth. Things that we're remembering, we're staying in that rep range of like 5 or 10. We're not doing, just because it feels good, we're not doing 50. Like I said, you're going to go from a happy joint to an angry joint if you overdo it. Now, looking at how often you can do these movements throughout the day, you can do them through a number of times. So if you go through them like in the morning, midday, evening, it'll be perfectly fine in order to help loosen up that mid-back area. I can even feel myself, it's loosening up, it feels better, there's less tension there. I can feel that there's more blood moving into that area. I mean, all of these are great things and positive things to kind of loosen up that mid-back area. Okay, now moving to the next one. It's very similar to the other one. Now we're going to rotate to one side and we're going to bend to the opposite side. Back up, back to the middle. Rotate to one side, bend to the opposite side, back up and back to the middle. Okay. A chair like this isn't exactly the most ideal for this, as I can spin around on it, which I don't want. It's better to have a fixed chair. And with a fixed chair, it's a lot more safer. We have a swivel one, so it's easier for us to move from one position to the other position. All right, let me see if any questions have come in. So Debbie asks, I wake up in the morning with a stiff mid-back and I foam roll. Is that a good idea? So foam rolling would be a level above this. So if you're in the sitting down, is the movements that I've kind of gone through is good if you're in a sitting position. If you don't like getting on the floor, if you don't want to get on the floor, if you have difficulty getting on the floor, you can do these chair exercises. Now, when it comes to the foam roller is the next step that you can do, and it ends up being more intense to utilize the foam roller. And I find it's great if you can get down on the floor and utilize the foam roller. The foam roller works great with that first exercise, where it was that arching back one, the one where you arch back. So with that one, it's really good when it comes to that arching back movement. It's more challenging to go through the other movements that we demonstrated. So foam roller is difficult to cover with those other movements. How a foam roller can be good, and I think I just have this one, is a foam roller is nice to kind of lock you down. So if you have a foam roller out front, it kind of locks in your shoulders and gives you like feedback to go through the movement. So So that, I like the foam roller for that because it kind of locks in my shoulders. It gives me some feedback to kind of go through the movement and make sure that I'm going through the right plane of movement with the exercise. Okay. So thank you very much for the question, Debbie. Thank you very much, Link, for the feedback. And okay. All right, so to kind of summarize the 5 that we went through, it's having a seat, having good ideal posture when it comes to your head, shoulders, and hips. The first one is arching back, and then back to the start, arching back, and back to the start. The next one was crossing, side bending, going to one side, back up, side bending, and back up. The third one was rotation. So rotating from one side. Then the next one was rotating to one side, side bending to that same side, and then rotating, side bending, back up, back to the middle. And the fifth and final one was rotating and side bending to the opposite side, back up and back to the start. Now it's kind of hard to do in standing because your feet and ankles and hips want to rotate as well. So if you do it in sitting, your lower body's locked down and you're able to isolate that mid-back area. Okay, so I hope those 5 movements make sense. Give them a go. They'll make your mid-back feel great. Okay, so that's it. So thank you very much for joining me. Make sure to give me a thumbs up if you got benefit from this. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And before you go, or if you're leaving, make sure to swing by exercisesforinjuries.com. Enter in your injury or pain in the little box there. There's a good chance there'll be a video, article, or an interview that will help you out. So that's it. This is Rick Castells. Take care and bye-bye.